Well, the new year is shaping up to be a big one for immigration policy. Lawmakers in at least a half dozen states pushing for bills similar to the one passed in Arizona last year, if you may remember. Plus, 5 states are now looking to cancel automatic citizenship for children born in the U.S. to illegal immigrant parents. For more on this, let's bring in our panel. Frank Sharry is founder and executive director of America's Voice. Bob Dane is communications director at the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Thank you so much for talking to us. Frank, you know, just last month, only 3 Republican senators voted for the DREAM Act, which, as we now know, is a measure that would help kids who grew up as Americans and want to go to college or serve in the military. And then, of course, as we just mentioned, at least 5 states next week are going to try to cancel automatic United States citizenship for children born in this country to illegal parents. How big of a fire, I suppose, are Republicans going to have to put out when it comes to immigration reform come the new year?
Well, look, I mean, most of these measures are being pushed by Republicans. As you said, only 3 Republicans voted for young kids who want to serve in the military and go to college. I have to say, as someone who worked very closely with Senator McCain and Senator Kyle and with George W. Bush back in the day when immigration reform was a bipartisan affair, how do we end illegal immigration in a way that's both practical and controlled? Right now, we have a Republican Party that's lurched to the right, and I think that these measures are being, launched by local politicians trying to make a name for themselves, trying to position themselves for higher office.
Sure.
But I think it's going to really hurt the Republican Party in trying to retake the White House in 2012.
All right, so Bob, what do you make of that? I mean, Frank just pointed out there that the Republican Party, they have leaned right, very hard to the right, in fact, on the illegal immigration issue. Is this going to drive Hispanics into the hands of the Democrats?
No, look, one of the things the Republicans are going to have to keep in mind now that they've got the responsibility of the leadership mantle in the House is they've got to demonstrate to the American public on the immigration issue that they get it, that Americans have had it with the cost and the impact of illegal immigration. And Republicans are going to have to be very careful that they do not revert back to the soft on enforcement and teasing around with amnesty policies in 06 and 08 that led to their own demise. Now, politically, the decision for Democrats on what they do on immigration over the next 2 years, very clear. Democrats either do nothing on immigration for the next 2 years,
right,
or they step up to the plate and work collaboratively on both sides of the aisle to secure the border and reinstate meaningful immigration enforcement.
Frank, Arizona-style state laws, they hurt terrorism, they hurt the state's reputation as the law was ruled unconstitutional. You say these measures just won't work. Why?
Look, the premise of the Arizona-style laws is that it's possible and desirable to take the 11 million people here who are here without legal status, most of whom live in families, been here for more than a decade, are hardworking. Yes, they're here in violation of immigration laws, but they are good people. And the idea is that we're going to make life so miserable for them that they're going to pick up and leave, a mass expulsion or mass deportation strategy. We're not being honest with the American people to say we're going to disappear a population this size of the state of Ohio through these policies. These are politicians scoring points. These are Republican politicians trying to pander to a hard right faction in the party. What I don't understand is why leaders in the party aren't standing up and saying, look, if we want to retake the White House in 2012, you can't continue to alienate the fastest growing group of new voters who will be of consequence in the Southwest and Florida, the swing states in 2012.
By enforcing the laws, I mean, not necessarily realistically, I mean, you're not going to drive 11 million immigrants living here illegally out of the country, but aren't you deterring more illegals from crossing our borders? And isn't deterrence the goal here, or shouldn't it be?
Yes, we should end illegal immigration, not with Arizona-style laws, but with a national approach to immigration reform. We should do a better job of securing our borders. We should crack down on illegal hiring, and we should tell the people who are here but that are not criminals to come forward, get right with the law, get to the back of the citizenship line, pay their full and fair share of taxes. Those are the elements of comprehensive reform that would solve the problem, rather than pretending that these state measures, which cost Arizona tremendously in terms of reputation, in terms of tourism, that is not the way to solve this problem. That makes headlines. It doesn't solve problems.
Bob, how do you solve the problem then?
Approach.
Frank, I know it's New Year's Day and you're waxing nostalgic about amnesty, but you may not have gotten the memo or the message, and that was that amnesty now is off the table, and that's the main game changer. Now that we remove the politics, the special interest politics of amnesty, we have dispensed once and for all that amnesty really has anything to do with what ails the immigration system. Now, we have, over the next 2 years, in the new Congress, a real opportunity to reinstate some degree of credibility into the immigration system and restore the rule of law. We will see more state, local action. We'll see Congress stepping up with resources and manpower at the border.
Right.
We'll see a crackdown on sanctuary cities, and most important, an expansion of E-Verify. That's the one area of bipartisan consensus. U.S. employers should not be hiring illegal aliens.
All right, Frank Sharry, Bob Dane, that's all the time we have. Thank you, gentlemen. Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year.
Thank
you.
And that's going to do it for us. Rick Fulbaum, Juliette Huddy, take over.